We are covering airspace classes A through G, a critical topic on the Aviation Information Subtest of the AFOQT. Understanding these airspace classifications is not just about memorizing altitudes. It's about knowing the rules of the road in the sky, which the Air Force expects its future officers to master. Let's break down each class from an exam perspective. Class A, or Class Alpha, airspace is straightforward. It starts at 18,000 feet mean sea level, or MSL, and goes up to flight level 600, which is about 60,000 feet. The key exam takeaway for Class A is that all flights must be conducted under Instrument Flight Rules, or IFR. This means no VFR or visual flight rules are permitted. On the AFOQT, a question might try to trick you by asking about VFR weather minimums in Class A. The correct answer is that it's not applicable. Next is Class B, or Bravo airspace. Think B for busiest. This airspace surrounds the nation's most congested airports, like those in Atlanta or Los Angeles. It generally extends from the surface up to 10,000 feet MSL, and is shaped like an upside-down wedding cake, with tiers that get wider as you go higher. The most critical rule for the exam is that you need an explicit air traffic control clearance to enter. Simply establishing radio contact is not enough. You must hear the words cleared into the Class Bravo airspace. Class C, or Charlie airspace, is found around airports that are busy but not as congested as Class B hubs. Think of medium-sized cities. This airspace typically has a core that extends from the surface to 4,000 feet above the airport, with an outer shelf. For the AFOQT, the key difference from Class B is the entry requirement. For Class C, you only need to establish two-way radio communication with ATC before entering. You do not need an explicit clearance. Class D, or Delta airspace, surrounds airports with an operational control tower, but less traffic than Class C. It's typically a cylinder from the surface to 2,500 feet above the airport. Similar to Class C, entry requires establishing two-way radio communication. A common exam trap is a question about a Class D airport after its tower has closed for the night. In that case, the airspace usually reverts to Class E or G, and the communication requirement no longer applies. Now for the two most common types of airspace, Class E and Class G. Class E, or Echo, is the catch-all for controlled airspace that isn't A, B, C, or D. It can start at the surface, 700 feet or 1,200 feet above the ground, and it extends up to, but not including 18,000 feet MSL. Most of the airspace in the U.S. is Class E. Finally, Class G, or Gulf, is uncontrolled airspace. ATC does not have authority here. It extends from the surface up to the floor of the overlying Class E airspace. The biggest exam trap involves the distinction between MSL and AGL. Mean sea level is a standardized altitude, while above ground level is your height relative to the terrain directly beneath you. Class A starts at 18,000 feet MSL, a fixed altitude. The ceilings of Class C and D are often given in AGL. The AFOQT will test if you know which one applies. For a mental shortcut, remember this phrase: always be cleared, contact directly, elsewhere is controlled, go for it in uncontrolled. This helps recall the primary operational requirement for each class. For free practice questions, AI-powered explanations, and more exam prep tools, visit openexamprep.com. That's openexamprep, all one word, .com.